You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Hey Overwatch fans, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Overwatch Contenders Daily. I'm your host, LemonKiwi. Today's guest is the analyst from Isurus Gaming. His name is Simon. And Isurus Gaming, man, have been a top 3 team in Contenders South America for quite some time. So I've been really excited to talk to the team about their roster for the season. So asking Simon, well, they have changes in their DPS lineup. They have changes in their tank lineup, maybe some coaches that actually in the coaching department as well. So there's lots to talk about what Isurus have been going through this season and what changes we might expect in the future. And not only that, what strategies are they going to be bringing in for playoffs with the new patch 1.26? And while Simon has been watching the season unfold, what are some teams that have impressed him, and what are some teams that maybe have not impressed him so much? We're going to be talking about how the season is going for Isurus. But before we get into that, there's some Contenders news we have to discuss. Contenders South America semifinals and grand finals are going on this weekend, September 1st at 5 p.m. Eastern and September 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So make sure you check out twitch.tv/Overwatch Contenders for the Contenders South America playoffs, where Isurus will be competing in this weekend. And if you're an Australian fan, I believe this Friday is the semifinals and grand finals of Contenders Australia. So there's tons of playoffs going on this week. Make sure you go and follow Overwatch Contenders to catch all of that business. But now that I'm done babbling on, we can get right into my interview now with Simon from Isurus Gaming. And I'm joined here with Simon, the analyst for Isurus Gaming, who are heading into the semifinals of Contenders South America this weekend to face Looking for Org, who I think they might have found an org, I'm not sure, but Isurus just won 3-1 over Breakdown Gaming this past weekend in the quarterfinals. So Simon, you must be feeling pretty good. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Awesome. It's great to have you guys. I've had Brazil Gaming House. I'm trying to go through all the teams in South America. So I'm going to go through some of your roster changes. Like, Isurus is a big name. You guys have sort of always been on top of the pack when it comes to South America talent. So it was just announced that Ravaged left the team. Yes, he was a substitute, and Avenge took his place over time as the main tank. So could you compare, what's the difference between Avenge and Ravaged in terms of play style, and why did you guys decide to go with Avenge?
Rava is like a very like aggressive tank player, whereas Avenge is like a passive player. So it's like a big difference there. It wasn't really a choice to choose Iza over Rava at first, because Rava actually had some real-life situation going on, so he had to take a break. But he's better now, but since the team has been playing with Avenge for a while, I think they just chose to play with him now instead of Rava.
So Avenge is a little bit more passive, and so your team prefers sort of more passive play?
I don't think it's just like a preference. I think it's just like a difference between them. It wasn't really...
Okay. Well, he's been fitting well with the team. I mean, despite sort of changing your main tank that can sometimes make or break a team. And then another major roster change happened where, well, this was at the beginning of the season, your roster coming into the season, where Leviathan went to Pain Gaming. He was a pivotal part to Isurus last season when you guys came second place. And then you guys acquired Valen from Black Dragons. So how has it been for Klaus and Valen adapting to each other? How's it been for the team to build synergy together, and what have been the challenges that your team has been going through this season?
It's actually been very, very easy for Valen and Klaus to get synergy together, because the two of them are actually like really, really good friends before joining a team.
Oh,
together.
Nice.
Like, they're very similar, like they're about the same age. They always duo queue together in ranked, so like they play together a lot, they hang out together a lot, so it was very, very easy for them to build synergy together. Like, Klaus and Valen are like very like similar people, so it was easy for them.
Well, that's an easy pickup for your team too. When you have someone who's friends, like it's always great to be friends outside of the game to have that synergy, right?
Yeah.
And it was also recently announced that unfortunately your head coach, John, is going to be moving to, or trying to get to NA to start a career there. So what is Isurus Gaming going to do in the future in the next coming season? Do you guys have a coach in mind? Are you guys going to be doing tryouts? Are you maybe going to be the coach? Or what's going to happen?
Well, also I have left as well.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I missed your announcement!
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure about the coaching situation. I think Bulu is going to be taking over at this point, but that's like subject to change, I guess. John is still staying with us for like until the end of the season, like
until playoffs are done. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be like a big blow because like John is a very, very good coach, and like it's not going to be easy to replace someone like that for Isurus, but yeah, they're going to be fine, I think.
Hopefully. There's a lot of changes going on with Isurus. So you're leaving as well. Do you have another opportunity coming up, or are you sort of still exploring?
I'm still exploring, yeah.
Well, good luck to you and John. I'd love to see Isurus. I wonder what's going to happen to Isurus next season when you have, you know, a whole new coaching staff. We've seen in Overwatch League what kind of happens when you mess with the coaching staff of a team. Sometimes it can completely make a team fall apart, but we're still cheering for Isurus, who, I mean, have still consistently been on top. Even this season are looking like they're still on top. So you're going to be looking for Org in the semifinals, like I mentioned. So what sort of, you know, with playoffs being in patch 1.26, what sort of strategies has Isurus brought into playoffs? What are you guys experimenting with? Like any Hammond, any more hit scans, or what are you guys trying out?
Top secret information.
Oh, come on. Spill the beans, man.
Nah, I can't.
I haven't even seen you guys touch Hammond. I said, well, we got to already see your quarterfinal match where we saw a little bit of Doomfist. Not any Hammond. Actually, not a lot of teams. I think maybe, you know, your opponent ended up using a bit of Hammond. Not really a lot of teams have been experimenting in patch 1.26.
The thing about Hammond is he's not very, like, versatile. He's kind of like one thing you can do. Like, you can only really engage. Like with Monkey, you can like get in, get out if you need to. Like you can help your backline if you need to. But like with Hammond, like once you're in, you're in. It's like very difficult for you to be able to get back out or try to like help your backline. And like it's not really that good of a trade-off, especially since you're losing the bubble as well. So I think that's why like not many people have been running the Hammond. Like, and it kind of shows like teams that were running Hammond were in NA contenders were like losing much more than teams who weren't running him. It's like the results speak for themselves, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's very good of a hero.
I think a lot of people have been saying it's very difficult to get a grasp of him. And I think you said it perfectly well that he's an engagement here. You know, he's crowd control, but he can't get out. So if you don't have a team that follows up with his abilities, then you're kind of feeding. And I think I've seen a couple cases where Hammond has not lent much support to the team. I think people are trying to try it out with the whole crowd control. You got Sombra, Ana, like all these crowd control heroes coming in. It's been fun to see Hammond. I think Keith ended up using it in your match or another match. And it's been entertaining. And we'll have to see maybe with more time how Hammond's going to work.
Yeah, I think he's like a cheesy character. Like, if you play like a certain comp and you like kind of catch them off guard, they can't deal with it. It can like roll you. But I think in general, it's not very good. Like, it's pretty easy to counter.
Well, I've been loving Klaus's Doomfist, at least in desperation. Hopefully, we'll see some more spicy strategies this weekend against looking for Org. So good luck to you guys in that match. But now as a season as a whole, so you've started this year doing your analyst stuff. You've been around Contenders South America for a good chunk of time. So this season has been really exciting with sort of new teams on the come up. You have new faces coming out of open divisions. So which teams have impressed you the most this season?
I mean, I think the obvious answer here is Revolts. Like, they came from last place trials only getting into contenders because Just W couldn't sell their slot. and taking a 4-0 set against, or 3-0 set against Black Dragons, who many people were considering to be one of the best teams in the region. So I think that's like a really, really good result for them. And yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people in that team too. Like, I like a lot of people in that team, and so I'm really happy for them, and I hope they stick together for next season.
They just, since the addition of Edgigus, they've been just insanely good, and it's crazy to see the difference one player can make to a team. I don't know what he brings besides mechanically, like if they're communicating better with him, but at the start of the season, they were, you know, mid-pack, and then ever since they added Edgigus, I think they're, undefeated, and especially with that win over Black Dragons, which I think we weren't all too surprised, but we were definitely very impressed with Revolts, and they're going up against Brazil Gaming House this weekend, and I'm so excited to see if they can make that a challenge. But now on the opposite spectrum, is there any teams that you're surprised did not do so well this season, and why do you think they had a rough season?
I think Pain Gaming was a team that many people were expecting to place better. Like, obviously, you know, in quarters they played against BGH, which, you know, nobody was really expecting them to win, I guess. Or not nobody, but like that was a very
tough one, yeah.
But like even in their group stage, like I think they only came third in the group, or I think even last in the group. And
yeah, fourth,
not last, but fourth. And that was very, very surprising for a lot of people, because last season Pain Gaming was like they came third last season, so a lot of people were expecting them to do better. But I think some things like went wrong with that team a lot with the roster. Like, you have Fasty off-rolling onto the off-tank role, and then you have Maurice leaving mid-season. Like, half of their starting lineup was like gone, so I think that was like a big shake for them, and it was difficult for them to recover from that.
See, we didn't even know Maurice was off the team. I thought we were always wondering if they were going to sub him back in, because I guess it says he's a substitute, but I can imagine that being a big blow to the team when you have roster changes and probably internal stuff going on.
Yeah. Another team too is Black Dragons, I think. They were also considered to be one of the best teams in the region, and then obviously, as we said before, losing 3-0 to Revolts. I think, again, there were some roster stuff there where last season I think Valen was like, I mean, their carry, I guess. Like, he was like their best player, and losing a player like Valen it's not easy to replace him, especially in like SA, where there's like a limited player pool you can choose from. And then also Perlique moving over to the DPS role instead of Diva. I rated his Diva quite highly. Like, I thought he was the second best Diva in Brazil, behind Honorado. And Wetter is not a bad Diva. Like, I'm not saying Wetter's bad, but I think Perlique was better, and Perlique is also not a bad DPS, but he was better on the Diva role, I think. So those two changes impacted them, I think.
I've noticed a lot of teams having their players play different roles than what I've seen them. And you mentioned Fasty, and then you have Perlique or Perlique, however you say his name. So a lot of people have been off-rolling, and I guess you really have to be flexible with your role to get maybe a spot on a team like in Contender South America.
I think a lot of that is caused by teams in SA have like a smaller player pool that they can choose from. Like, there's not a lot of players that you can look at to be filling spots for your team. So I think a lot of teams are just like, okay, well, we can't get anybody in this role, so we'll get one of our players to fill in that role, and then we can get a player who plays the previous role that the other player was on.
Well, it's pretty tough to switch roles like that, and everyone's been doing pretty good, and we're nearing the end of the playoff season, and this weekend, you guys, well, good luck in your match, and I'm very excited to watch it, and possibly, I think I'm going to be casting over it. But thank you so much for joining me in this interview, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, I'm LemonKiwi. This is Overwatch Contenders Daily, and we're going to see you guys next week.